Welcome to the Know, I'm Mica.
And I'm Adam.
Hey, all you kids out there, stop all that YouTubing you're doing. Several watchdog groups have banded together to file an official complaint with the United States Federal Trade Commission accusing YouTube of illegally collecting information about children.
This all comes on the heels of YouTube already facing some serious critiques about how its platform surfaces content to kids, but this one's a bit more serious.
If upheld, it could see some extremely heavy penalties visited on YouTube and Google because, yeah, collecting data on kids is something the government doesn't really mess around with. Go figure. Who knew?
Before we talk about the potential penalties, let's talk about what happened. This week, a collection of 23 different child advocacy, privacy, and watchdog groups, including the likes of the Center for Digital Democracy, the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood, the Electronic Privacy Information Center, and the Parent Coalition for Student Privacy, have all joined together like a powerful toy whose boxing would be very powerful on the platform in order to send an official complaint to the FTC.
In the complaint, they allege that YouTube collects personal information like geolocation, unique device identifiers, mobile telephone numbers, and persistent identifiers from children under the age of 13 in order to target them for advertisements. And according to them, YouTube does this without prior parental consent, which is totally required by law.
The letter itself outlines YouTube's responsibility to follow this particular law, also known as COPPA, or the Children Online Privacy Protection Act. Like it sounds, it's designed to protect the privacy of the children on the internet, and as you can imagine, it doesn't mess around.
Yeah, according to the US government, any online service that targets users under 13 years old needs to display a privacy policy that's easy to read and understand. It has to state what information is being collected and what the company might do with it, along with directions on how parents can give their consent.
And violating it is not good at all. The FTC says that companies can be fined up to $41,000 per offense,
Whoa.
Which can add up really quickly if you're good at math. And in this case, we're talking potential millions of violations.
That's a lot of money then, and I'm bad at math. The letter spends a bit of time talking about how YouTube clearly intends for kids to use its platform and how it makes money off of them thanks to targeted ads. If you're wondering how YouTube has wiggled its way, Josh Gollin, the executive director of the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood, one of the organizations that endorsed the letter, has a few ideas.
Gollin said, "For years, Google has abdicated its responsibility to kids and families by disingenuously claiming YouTube, a site rife with popular cartoons, nursery rhymes, and toy ads, is not for children under 13. Google profits immensely from delivering ads to kids and must comply with COPPA. It's time for the FTC to hold Google accountable for its illegal data collection and advertising practices."
Jeff Chester of the Center for Digital Democracy also gave his 2 cents, adding, "Google has acted duplicitously by falsely claiming in its terms of service that YouTube is only for those who are age 13 or older, while it deliberately lured young people into an ad-filled digital playground. Just like Facebook, Google has focused its huge resources on generating profits instead of protecting privacy."
So when the site asks you if you're over 13 and you hit yes, you're lying. The letter also argues that children are the most popular and profitable segment for the company. Specifically, they quote a 2017 study which found that 80% of US children ages 6 to 12 use YouTube daily.
Whoa.
They also point to many of the platform's top channels, many of which are focused on kids.
For its part, YouTube says they take these things seriously. Oh, and YouTube totally isn't for kids because we've got a kids app. Their statement reads, "Protecting kids and families has always been a top priority for us. We'll read the complaint thoroughly and evaluate if there are things we can do to improve. Because YouTube is not for children, we've invested significantly in the creation of the YouTube Kids app to offer an alternative specifically designed for children."
And speaking of that kids app, all this comes within days of some breaking news on that front. Apparently, the company is taking the content of that platform so seriously that they'll be removing the algorithm altogether instead of opting for human-moderated content.
Wow, and a lot of that has to do with what's known as Elsagate, which happened last year. That was when YouTube found itself in a bit of hot water over a number of really inappropriate videos being surfaced to kids thanks to groups gaming the algorithm for views. Most often they would use characters or songs appealing to kids, but then the video themselves were filled with, let's just say, questionable content, mostly revolving around Disney princesses and gross stuff.
The thing is, this isn't the first time YouTube has been accused of violating COPPA. It's already happened once before in 2015 when advocacy groups leveled charges at the YouTube Kids app for skirting advertising laws.
As you can imagine, this isn't the first time a company or product has been put to the fire over privacy concerns when it comes to kids. Last year, Disney got a lot of flack for how 42 of its kid-friendly apps handled the collection of data. That one resulted in a big lawsuit claiming that millions of kids have been affected by Disney's practices, which resulted in the selling of kids' information to third third-party advertisers, which is not cool.
And in 2016, 4 toy companies, including Hasbro, Mattel, and Viacom, paid a fine and agreed to stop letting marketers track children's internet habits after it was found that sites like Nickelodeon, American Girl, Neopets, and My Little Pony, among others, had improperly tracked kids' online activities.
Not Neopets! I feel betrayed. Well, we'll have to see what develops about this FTC complaint about YouTube and who's been on the receiving end of some, tough scrutiny already in the last year or so when it comes to advertising.
What do you guys think about child groups claiming that YouTube spies on kids? Let us know in the comments.
For future updates on YouTube and all of its shenanigans, remember to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the network.
As long as you're older than 13.
Yeah,
Don't
seriously.
lie about your age.
Don't lie. If you're 12, stop it.
The FTC said and for years, Google has abdicated its responsibilities to kids and families by Google profits immensely by delivering ads to kids who must comply with COPPA. I'm going to read that whole little sentence again. Can you go? Yeah, I'm starting to know where we go.
We will read the complaint thoroughly and evaluate if things are